Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Rams Revealed. Ian Nicholas back at it now. We interviewed the boys lacrosse team. They had their season opener. The girls lacrosse team and their captains are here with me today. Courtney O'Connell, McKenna Harden, and Shea Hobbs ready to get this one underway. Their season opener is in 2 days up against Fairfield Ludlowe on the road. And let's hope that one goes well for you. McKenna, we're going to start with you. You were one of the stars of the team when we last checked, and that was quite a while ago, wasn't it? 2 years ago, really, since you guys last played in a state tournament and played any varsity lacrosse. Have you been knocking off rust, or are you guys really ready to go on Tuesday?
I think a little bit of both. I think definitely not only a lot of our team coming from a different sport in the winter, having to knock off a bit of that rust from different sports, and then in the off season, and we've really come together well in practices and our scrimmage against GA on Tuesday.
Yeah, so I'm going to follow off of that
Uh-oh.
one. And Courtney, with you, how did that scrimmage go against GA last week? That was really the one and only action that you guys were able to really get against a real team before your game on Tuesday. How do you think it went, not only for the seniors, but for the entire program?
I think, all things considered, I actually think it went really well. I mean, considering we have 7 returners this year and we haven't played in about 2 years, really, and it's like basically an entirely new team, I think it was actually quite impressive how we played. Sure, we're a little rusty, but that happens no matter – it's the beginning of the season no matter what. So even though we did have 2 years off, that – or a year off between, I think that we played really well, all things considered. And we look good. The freshmen all the way up to seniors look good. So I was really impressed with everyone.
And speaking of those underclassmen, Shea, who are some of the names that a typical New Canaan fan or even your senior parents wouldn't even know because they haven't played varsity lacrosse before? There are a few standouts that you have really been excited to see and will be excited to see in the coming weeks.
Yeah, I mean, I think that because of we haven't seen a lot of these names with the gap, there are, a decent amount. I think one serious defensive force is going to be Ella Patterson. She looks amazing in our scrimmage. She looks great. Stella Nolan is awesome. Same with Caroline Underwood. And then from the freshman class, we have 2 middies, Devin Russell and Lexi Tully, who are both great athletes. And then even looking at the juniors, we have Claire Mahoney coming in as goalie, amazing. And then I don't know if Jade Lowe's, she's new this year on the team. Same with Caitlin Tully, but they both look lights out. It's a good group. It really is.
And a lot of hockey players too. You guys, I was talking about Russ, but I realized all 3 of you played hockey and a lot of the hockey players play lacrosse. And McKenna, does that really help when you're considering that you guys haven't played lacrosse in a year, but at the same time, you just played a varsity sport a few weeks ago and it was really no downtime. So athletically, you guys didn't really have to shake off a lot of rust in that regard. You just hop from one sport to the next.
Yes, it definitely helps staying in shape in the winter, but there is also a very challenging transition because we're not using the same muscles and everything.
Sure.
But I think in the team dynamic, it honestly helped us so much having being fortunate enough to have the hockey season, because you could see how evident it was that the majority of the team was already so close through that chemistry we had built in the winter season. And it's not only through the friendships, but also the connections on the field that have really benefited from those winter sports.
Definitely. It really is. When you have one team with so many of the same teammates, the chemistry, and especially you've been playing throughout, youth with all of you guys, the chemistry is already there, and it will be evident this year as well. Courtney, how important is it to you that in your senior season, it's not like last year where you're not getting a season and there's no uncertainty about it? This is not only going to be a season, but you played soccer too. Soccer was kind of a season, shortened, but not really a traditional year. This is a full year. You're going to have a full FCAC tournament. You guys are looking to win your first FCAC tournament since 1993. And then states, you're going to have a first state tournament in 2 years for any sport in the state of Connecticut. How important is it to the whole group and Coach Woods that this is a real year? You're going to play a full 16-game season, and then you're going to have a full tournament experience.
It's honestly incredible that we can get that. I mean, the fact that we even got soccer and hockey in is incredible. And I think we really have learned throughout playing the past few seasons is that you have to take advantage of every time you step on the ice of the field, because you really don't know what could go, if things could go wrong, or if could be your last time playing out there. And so we're extremely grateful to have a full season. It's incredible how far we've come along, considering we had no season last year, and then we're gonna have FCX and states. Again, our mindset too has not changed, but like you just really have to take advantage of every moment out there. I think we've learned that throughout our past 2 sports. We've been fortunate enough that we managed to get through those seasons successfully. But I think the same goes for lacrosse, and you can't take any day for granted. But we're super excited. It's honestly, it's incredible we get to do this.
And it's incredible that you have a great coach leading the way in Coach Wood, someone who you see a lot in the high school, Shea, because she teaches. I don't know if you've ever had her as a teacher. But what were your first impressions of Coach Woods? I mean, I assume you knew that you were going to be playing high school lacrosse. So from then to now, knowing that she's been here for years, how big of an influence has she been for all of you?
Yeah, I mean, I think the biggest thing just goes back to when you're in middle school and you're doing preseason and it's still it's still cold outside. And I think in the beginning we all dread it, but, we always see Coach Woods at the tryouts. And it's been like 4 years in middle school. It's very intimidating seeing her there because you're thinking the whole time, you're like, oh my God, is she going to remember me for this?
Yep.
When I entered the school, as a freshman, but she's really, she's a coach that you want to impress. I think everybody really cares what Coach Woods thinks about you because we all respect her so much. And she's a really, really great coach. Yeah.
And really down to earth too, as a winner who's been here for 13, 14 years. She knows what she's doing. Speaking of no one who knows what she's doing, McKenna, your own sister, Kaylee. I mean, talk about chemistry. I mean, obviously you live in the same house, that helps. But, hockey, soccer, and now lacrosse, you two were both all FCIAC and all state in 2019. How much has she impressed you over the years, and especially in lacrosse, which is, the sport that you're going to go to play in college?
Well, I mean, everyone can say this. She impresses you differently every day in a good way, keeps building off of it, not only in lacrosse, but her other sports as well. She just has such a different way to her game than anyone I've ever really seen the way they play it. And I think that on the field in lacrosse has grown throughout. And that's what I've noticed the most is just the change in her game and her confidence throughout the years. And then in the aspect of playing with her, it's you can hear us banter and give each other a hard time on the field, but at the end of the day, that's what drives us because we both know each other and how we play so well that we're kind of there for each other. We're like, okay, you're going to fix this. I'll be there for you if you need a pass, or if you're going to drive and you get stuck, I'm there for you. We kind of, it's not twin telepathy, but there's a little sister connection that we're always there to support one another, and it's always so fun playing with her, and it's going to be exciting going to college with her. But I'm also excited to see what she does alone next year when I'm not here because I think she's going to do some big things, stepping up to the plate and leading the team.
Yep, you get to escape her for 1 year, but then she'll be there the next. And Courtney, if somebody who's never watched your team before, New Canaan Lacrosse, and a lot of people haven't now considering you've been off for a full year, how would you describe the kind of lacrosse that Coach Woods wants you to play? And then, the on-field product, what kind of lacrosse does New Canaan Girls Lacrosse want to play game in and game out, regardless of if you're playing Darien or if you're playing a team that might not be as successful?
I think we're a pretty gritty team, and I think that's what our coaches really just nail on us every day, and they tell us, honestly, it's just about hard work and stuff. And lacrosse is a bit of a different sport because it is a little bit more finesse and with the catching and throwing as opposed to like a hockey. But I do think they just drill into us just to be a gritty team and work hard and always just be the first into the ball and just get your hands on your stick and get lower. And I think that's what's really going to help us win this year. And I think that's really what they've drilled into us. I just think it's about hard work, and just really just wanting it.
And Shea, I'll ask you a question. I know you have to dive back into the memory for this one, but when was your first memory of New Canaan Lacrosse in the high school program that really made you realize that you want to be a part of this team for the long term? And heck, maybe I can be a captain one day. Now you are. But what are some of the things over the years, maybe a moment or two in particular, that have made you fall in love with this program? And I bet there are probably going to be similar moments to whatever McKenna or Courtney would say.
I think that this is going back to sophomore year is when I can really think of something. And that year we had an incredible group of seniors to look up to. And one of the moments I remember was sort of it was outside of lacrosse, it was a little team bonding thing that we had done at, Caitlin Sparks, one of the seniors that year, had everybody over in her basement just to hang out. And we had all coordinated, it was each class coordinated dances. And so we went up. She has a little sister who was I don't know, like first or like pre-K at the time. So we'd gone upstairs and gotten a bunch of her outfits on that were, you know, you're looking at a bunch of like high school girls in like Snow White outfits and all sorts of stuff, dancing to I can't even think of the song. I think we were dancing.
It's Tricky.
It's Tricky. Yeah.
I remember that.
And just seeing each one of the classes and like it's such a funny group of people and such like a nice group on top of that. And I just remember being there with all like the seniors and stuff. It's such a close team, and it's like it's a team that you want to be a part of. And in that moment, just kind of fooling around with each other, it's something I'll probably remember forever. It was really, really special.
Well, hopefully you can have more of those special moments this year, even though it is a little bit of a different looking year. But regardless, hopefully you have great leadership here. Not hopefully, you do have great leadership here, just like you had some really great leaders a few years ago. And hopefully on Tuesday on the road against Ludlowe, you get the job done. Courtney O'Connell, McKenna Harden, and Shea Hobbs joining me for another episode of Rams Revealed. I'm Ian Nicholas, and we will see you and we will see this team very soon. Thanks so much, everyone.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you.